Good morning, first graders. So today we are going to be looking at our selection story for this week, which is Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery. Okay, so we are going to be concentrating on some of these today. We're going to continue to look at our high frequency words that'll be in there. Okay, we'll probably see some OO words, but our big words we're going to pay attention to are our story words today. So we have detectives, we have hey, hooray, meadow, million, mystery, and solved. Okay, so we have some of those story words that we'll be talking about in our story today. Before we start, I want to go ahead and look at our street rhyme. So remember, we're trying to figure out how can we be a good detective, okay? So here, let's read what it says. It says, did you use your magnifying glass and look for clues in the grass? Did you check the yard for strange footprints and search the house for secret hints? A good detective, don't you agree, can solve a mysterious mystery. So again, read it one more time with me. Here we go. It says, did you use your magnifying glass and look for clues in the grass? Did you check the yard for strange footprints and search the house for secret hints? A good detective, don't you agree, can solve a mysterious mystery. All right, so today we're going to start with our little stories that we have in the book, and this one is a folk tale. So remember, a folk tale often has animal characters that speak and act like people. And it says the main character has a problem to solve. So we're going to be thinking about what is the problem and how can it be solved. Okay? When a folk tale begins with the phrase, once upon a time, it means that people have been telling it a long time. So it's a story that people have told. When a folktale ends with the phrase, they lived happily ever after, it means that things turned out all right for the characters. So it turned out good. Okay? Today we're going to read a story called Brave Little Cuckoo. Look for elements of a folktale. So if you come to a part that you don't understand, I want you to use what you know to make a picture in your head to help you understand what you're reading. So remember, we always are running that kind of thing in our head about what is this telling me? All right? So this one says, Brave Little Cuckoo. So it says, once upon a time, long before there were cities and roads, Cuckoo flew through a forest in Mexico. So here we heard that once upon a time, which means people have been telling this for a long time. Okay, it says Cuckoo had shining feathers in shades of red, green, yellow, and blue. She also had the most beautiful voice in the forest. Kind of fun to see the pictures. All right. Be quiet, Cuckoo, chirped Blackbird. Come help us gather seeds. But Cuckoo just kept singing. The other birds kept working. After the other animals went to sleep, Cuckoo saw a fire coming. It would burn up all the seeds. What should she do? Then she saw a mole in his hole in the ground. Cuckoo had an idea. So remember, in a folktale it said there's a problem. So if I look at this, I know that the problem is the fire. So now we have to think about how can we solve this? How can we solve the problem? Okay. Cuckoo carried all the seeds to Mole's hole so they would not burn. The seeds were saved, but the soot made Cuckoo's colorful feathers black. The smoke made her lovely voice scratchy and rough. The animals in the forest decided that Cuckoo was the bravest bird in the forest. Because of her bravery, now all cuckoos have dull feathers and harsh voices. So she saved all the seeds by coming up with a really good idea. So she took all those seeds and put them underground so they would not burn. Okay, good. So today, like I said, we are going to be working on that Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery. So they have a mystery to solve, and we're going to see if they're able to do that and how. Okay, before we move into that story though, we have some skills that we want to remind ourselves of. So remember, this week we're working on that O that says oo, like in book. So that sound. Okay, so the O that says like in book or foot. Okay, so we talked about some of those. Then the other thing that we might see in our story is the ending ed and ending ing. And remember, this week with the ending is when we have to drop the silent e and add in ed, or we change the silent e to I and add ng. Okay, so racing, baking, waving, we changed that silent e to an I and added ng, and I showed you that in smiling and joking. Then the same thing with raced, baked, waved, and then I showed it to you again with smiled and joked, where we drop that E and then add the ED, because if not, we'd have two E's and that would not make sense. Okay, so we're going to probably see some of that in our story today. All right, so you guys have the copied one that says Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery. So you're going to be looking at this one and following along and reading with me. I'm going to be in the book, so if you want to, as you're reading your book, it's okay to look up and see mine so you can kind of see the colors and the things that are here, okay? But remember, it says, how do we solve mysteries? All right, I'm going to move a little bit closer, sorry. All right, so how do we solve mysteries is what we're kind of talking about this week. So this one, it says, Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery. So up here in my genre, it tells me that it's informational fiction. And that tells a make-believe story, but it also gives facts and information. So although it's made up, it's still going to give us real facts and real information about the world or about whatever we're reading. Okay, so the next story is a mystery about trees and how they grow where they do. So some of the information it's going to give us is going to be true about trees and how they grow. So this one again, the question of the week is, how do we solve mysteries? How do good detectives solve those mysteries? Okay, this is by Ellen Stahl Walsh. All right. So here it says, the detectives had nothing to do. We need a mystery to solve, said Jabber. Here's a mystery, said Dot. What is this little oak tree doing here? Why is that a mystery? Jabber wanted to know. Because of the acorn, said Dot. How did it get here? Dot, said Jabber. What acorn? So already he's finding a mystery. He's saying, how is this oak tree growing here? And how did the acorn get here? Well, then he says, what acorn? So that's kind of a mystery right now. Okay. But they also have another mystery, so they want to know how that oak tree got there. All right, let's see what happens. Oops, I skipped a page, sorry. It says, acorns are oak tree seeds. The little oak tree grew from an acorn, and acorns come from big oak trees. Oh, that acorn, said Jabber. But where's the big oak tree? So now it is a mystery. They're saying, how did an acorn get over here? Because there's no big tree. there's no big oak tree that would have dropped that acorn right there. So this is a mystery on how did that tree start growing there. So it says that's part of the mystery, said Dot. Let's look for clues. Okay, shouted Jabber, because we're detectives. He poked his head into a hole. So right now, if we're thinking about our characters, we know our characters are Dot and Jabber, and we know that obviously they're out in nature. They're outside of some sort because that's where our trees are growing. Okay, so maybe in the forest, but it doesn't look very foresty to me. So we just right now know that they're kind of outside trying to find out where these trees are going. This tree's coming from. Hey, this is my hole, said a mole. Go away. There are no clues down here. Try the big oak tree on the other side of the meadow. Of course, said Dot. Come on, Jabber. So in this that next page, it told us that they are in a meadow. Okay, so they're in a meadow where there are some trees, there's some flat land. Okay, so some different places. So we have a meadow. So the mole gives them an idea of where to start. And they said start at the big oak tree, which makes sense because that's where the acorn would have come from. Okay. That's a long way. That is a long way, said Jabber. How did our acorn get from there to here? Do you think it walked? Let's find out, said Dot. The acorn began at the big oak tree, so will we. The detectives set off across the meadow. So you can see the meadow is a big green grassy area, and then there's this big oak tree over here, which is where the acorn had to have started from. So they're going to go start there. Do you think that's a good way to start? I think so. I think you need to start where it came from. After a while, Jabber said, I'm tired. Can we wonder about all these maple seeds instead? There's no mystery in maple seeds, said Dot. They have wings that twirl, and they ride the wind across the meadow. Maybe our acorn rode the wind too, said Jabber. That is what we are going to find out, said Dot. So they were talking about the maple seeds that are like in the seeds that twirl as they come down. Okay, so this is kind of part of one, and then usually on the other side there's kind of that wing, and they twirl down. We had maple trees at my parents' house, and we would see those just twirl down, and they kind of go on the wind. Okay. At last they arrived at the big oak tree. Look, said Dot, I bet there are 1,000,000 acorns here. They don't have wings, said Jabber, but they taste good. Don't eat them, Jabber. They're clues. Uh-oh. He says, oh no. Mm-hmm. Acorns don't have wings, but they might have sneaky feet, said Dot. Let's keep watch and see if they start to move. Plip! An acorn dropped from the big oak tree. Jabber poked it with a stick. This acorn isn't going anywhere, he said. None of them are. So how do you think maybe it got across the meadow? Because they're saying it doesn't have wings, it doesn't have feet. It says it's not going anywhere. A squirrel came and sat down among the acorns. Jabber, look, Dot whispered. What is he doing? Oh, gasped Jabber, he's eating our clue. He can't be, said Dot. The shell is still on it. So why is he stuffing it in his mouth? Asked Jabber. The squirrel ran off. Oh no, he's stealing the acorn, the detectives cried, and ran after him. Ooh, so how do you think? They should have in your mind gone, wait a minute, we have a new character. It's Squirrel. And what is Squirrel doing? Think about what we've learned about squirrels. What do they do in the winter time or before winter? Okay. When the squirrel stopped, they stopped and watched to see what would happen next. What is he doing now? Asked Jabber. Digging a hole. Look, he's hiding the acorn. Jabber stared at Dot. Maybe he's planting it. Of course, said Dot. Our acorn crossed the meadow on squirrel feet and got planted by squirrel feet, said Jabber, and grew into the little oak tree, said Dot. The mystery is solved. We are two clever mouse detectives. So do you think that squirrel was actually planting it? Or do you think maybe it was hiding it and trying to store it for winter when it needs food and when it needs stuff, when everybody is hibernating and the snow is covering the grounds? And remember, our trees aren't going to have those leaves either. So I think he was trying to store it for winter. Hooray! Shouted Jabber. Now what will we do? Find another mystery, said Dot. But I'm hungry, said Jabber. First, let's go eat some of those leftover clues. Ooh, so what are the leftover clues that he wants to go eat? Yeah, they're the acorns that are back by the tree. All right, good job. So today, you're going to read that story with your parents again, okay? And then you're going to answer that trifold on the Dot and Jabber. So if I look here, the very first question is, what is the mystery? So what is the mystery that Dot and Jabber are trying to find out? Okay, where do acorns come from? So this is how our story was giving us information. It's giving us true facts. So where do acorns come from? Where do they come from? Okay, then it says, what is a meadow? Have you seen a meadow before? So that's two questions. First off, what is a meadow? We talked about in their story. And then, have you ever seen one before? So it's a yes or a no, I've seen one, or no, I haven't seen one. Okay, on the back side, it says, what does Jabber find out about the acorns? So what does he find out about the acorns? There's a couple answers that you could come up with there. Okay, and then it says, how do Dot and Jabber solve the mystery? So what did they do in order to solve the mystery? Okay, so you're going to answer those 5 questions about our story and then have your parents turn this into me. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to look in our, couldn't find it for a minute. We're going to look in our Blue Phonics books. And we're going to look at 2 pages in there to get done today. So this is just going to be reviewing our skills with the words with O-O. Okay, so here on page 549, we're going to choose a word to finish the sentence, fill in the circle, and then write the word. Okay, so it says, I blank a sack lunch. I took, look, or foot. Well, I know that my answer would be took. So I'm going to fill in took, and then I'm going to write the word took. T-O-O-K. So I took a sack lunch. Okay, number 2. It says, read the blank. Read the took, the zoo, or the book. Well, I know that the thing that would make sense would be book. So I'm going to fill in book, and I'm going to write book on the line. Okay, I'll do one more with you. My blank got wet. So my foot, my noon, or my took. What's the only thing on me? My foot. So I would fill in foot, and I'm going to write the word foot on the line. So F-O-O-T. Working on that sound in that O-O. Okay, so you're going to do 1 through 8 exactly the same way that we just did. On number 9 and 10, we're going to use our high frequency words, and we're going to figure out, write the word that matches each clue. So if I have in the beginning, it would be what? Instead. So I would just write the word instead. So I-N-S-T A-D, so it's that prefix in. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing with an. Okay, turn the page. And when you turn the page, we're going to be on page 551. So here, we just have to write the missing letters. So here, this is a picture of a moon. So it has the O-O for me. So what's the beginning sound of moon? M. Then we have the oo, n. What's the ending sound? That N. So I'm going to write N. So I make the word moon. This is a book. So what's that beginning sound? The beginning sound is B, k. What's my ending sound? K. Okay, you're going to do the same thing with foot and pool. Down here, you're going to write the list word in the puzzle. So if I look at number 6 across, it says 12 o'clock. So if it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes we say that is noon. So we would write N-O-O-N and make that say noon. Okay, 8 across is you eat this. So what would I eat? Well, I eat food. So I'm just going to write F-O-O-D. Okay, number 10 is I see it. So if I see it, that means I obviously had to look. So L-O-O-K. All right, so you're going to do 5, 7, and 9 going down the same way I did the ones that went across. So you're doing page 500, or you're finishing, because I started it with you. You're finishing page 549. And you're also finishing page 551, as well as turning in that trifold on Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery. So we're doing those 5 questions on our story, just to make sure we're understanding what we're reading. It's that reading comprehension piece, okay? I hope you have a great day. If you haven't seen math yet, I'll see you at math. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Hopefully you will join us for the Google Meet at 10 o'clock. So if you're watching this before the Google Meet, I'll see you then. If you watch afterwards, I hope you joined us and we got to see each other and talk. So we will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.